What's up, metalheads? Today, I'm spinning the wax with Dimitra Kalavrezou of Unverkalt, and we're listening to Björk's Homogenic. Don't go anywhere, it all starts right now. What is up? Welcome back, friends, to Spinning the Wax, where we listen to your favorite artists' favorite records. I'm your host, John Garcia, aka Stay Puffed, the Metal Marshmallow, and your friendly neighborhood headbanger. My guest for today's episode is Dimitra Kalavrezou, vocalist of Greek/German post-metal band Unverkalt, and we're going to be listening to Björk's sensational album, Homogenic. This was such a fun episode to record, and we dive into Björk's expressive art and how this album still feels ahead of its time 30 years after its release. She's inspired Dimitra to put everything into her art and always be exploring, pushing, and evolving as an artist. Unverkalt's upcoming album Héréditaire is out on February 27th via Season of Mist. The record is great, everyone, and Dimitra's voice is fucking phenomenal on it, so make sure that you check it out. My friends, here's episode 30 of Spinning the Wax, where Dimitra Kalavrezou of Unverkalt listens to Björk's Homogenic. Enjoy the interview, everyone. Dimitra, welcome to the show. Welcome to Spinning the Wax. How are you doing today?
I'm good, and thank you for having me. I told you also in the start before. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm really excited. Actually, listening to Björk today, I can't wait. She is my love.
Yeah, I'm so excited to dig into that with you. And like I was telling you before we started, Björk is a huge blind spot to me, despite all of the artists that I listen to that have been inspired by her, which is, I guess, just about every single one, which I'm sure that we'll get into and talk to and everything like that. But I want to know a little bit about you, Dimitra, and your band, since this may possibly be some people's first interaction with y'all, or maybe it's not. But either way, tell me a little bit about yourself, as far as I know that you are now in Germany by way of Greece, and you've been in this band since I think late 2010s or so. And tell me about how, I guess, you got started in music and how that led to Unverkalt.
So we started back in Athens, in Greece. So me and Themis, like the guitarist of the band and composer of the music, we started from Greece. Actually, this is our hometown, our place. So we started, I would say, 2019, start experimenting with stuff. A bit earlier, also, we were doing some things together, but it wasn't really, cohesive yet. We didn't went to a result back then, like in 2017 or something. And then we had our first album coming on 2020. It was an experiment. We just wanted to see how that would go. Like, you never know how something will evolve, and if something turns out the way that you imagine it or something.
Right.
But yes, we have 2 albums so far. We released also one more on 2023, pretty different from the first one, and now we are heading to the third release. I'm really excited for this as well.
Yeah, I got just a little taste of the third album. Obviously, I haven't heard the whole thing yet, but so it's interesting that you mentioned it, and I've read it a couple of times, talking about how Unverkalt started as like a musical experiment, so to speak, and then you just kind of went in there. So I guess. What was that like? Getting in, not knowing, like you didn't know what the sounds were going to be or how anything was going to go. You just decided, I guess, with them is that, let's figure out some way to make some dark sounds. I guess, is that like how it was?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Actually, I wanted just to have a safe space to really experiment with my expression as well. So we both kind of felt like home in this project, and we felt like okay, we don't need to think that much, we just need to feel the music, and we need to just make it happen. And this is how it started. And then we had also the moving to Germany, so we decided to leave from Greece and go to Berlin in 2021. So that was a big change also with the members. And in general, it was like a new form as well, because we could have more. Oh, what is it?
Yeah, that's Buster. He will be coming in and out very often. Yeah, it's I can't win with them. If I have them in eventually, usually he sleeps through the interviews, but if I have him in there, he'll be like, "Oh, I want to get out." But if I leave him out, he's going to be scratching to get in all the way through. So yeah, you'll see him. He's around here. I hope you're a fan of dogs.
What's his name? Like
This is Buster.
Buster. Very
Yes.
nice. So yes, I think the moving to Berlin was a pretty different course of events.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it helped a lot, I would say, on how things are right now.
Yeah, and Berlin is definitely a city that is going to, I guess, color a musical palette. You know what I mean? With the industrial city, the art that's there, just all the kind of like free expression. Had you spent a lot of time in Berlin before moving there, or was it just like no? You're like, we're going there, boom! It's gonna be a thing.
I mean, we went as tourists like back in 2017, and then we just I was very, very excited with this place. It's like so underground, like so many art is happening. Also people are very free of doing whatever they want, and it's like colorful and beautiful. So it was about time to just, it happened,
Yeah, that's awesome. I will dig into more of that in a little bit, but I thought it was also interesting talking about you saying, the second album sounds a lot different than the first album. The third album is also going to be doing that, talking about, just this need to always want to be like moving and experimenting and changing your art and stuff like that. Definitely something I'm going to want to dig into a little bit more specifically as we go along. But I think this very much kind of defines Bjork in a way, right? The artist that we're going to be listening to now, as far as someone who is constantly shifting and changing. From my experience, sometimes in albums, like from song to song. But, when I was looking through here, I was kind of surprised that she only has 10 studio albums. I could have sworn it was like fucking 25 or something like that. But obviously, there's live albums, films, all that other stuff. And she just is always doing something, which I think let's get into this first. You chose Björk's Homogenic, which I know I've seen talked about from the band several times before. And, getting into her, I can definitely see the influence in your vocals and in deliveries and stuff like that. So why, Dimitra, did you choose Björk's Homogenic as the album that you wanted to listen to today?
I mean, it's one of my favorites. I think, you know what, when I first heard Björk, and maybe this happened to you, I don't know. You will tell me also your impression.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, she's so expressive in her own way. Like she's embracing her voice and in an expansive way. Like what for me the most fascinated thing, like when I first saw a video of hers, it was, I think, Human Behavior. It was my first song ever. It wasn't even from this album that I chose.
Right.
But it was so great. I was like, oh my God, what is this? She's so special, so unique, unpredictable. You don't expect what you're gonna hear. So
yeah, exactly.
I love this. And she brings also, this sense of freedom that it's so big. I mean, I can imagine her just being in a field and sing her heart out without even care. What is perfection, how I should put a melody inside. It's just, she is like what she is, she is who she is, and she's perfect.
Yeah, it's very much. I feel like Björk is one of those artists that if you are into Björk, you're really, really into Björk, And this is kind of, I was talking about how I love a lot of artists that are inspired by her or use a lot of influences, both whether like musically, compositionally, whatever. But I've had kind of a hard time, going back into those influences and hearing those. Like, I like what is going on now, but then, sometimes when you go back several decades or whatever, you're like, yeah, I don't know. And it's interesting because I think that, how people talk about like death metal and like heavy music having a barrier of entry because of like the screaming vocals or it's like really intense or whatever. I feel like Bjork has a little bit of that as well, but not in the, oh, it's too heavy or I can't understand what's going on, but because just she's so fucking like weird and expressive. And again, you never know what's going to go on. And she has these, she's as expressive with her voice as she is like percussive with it, right? Like it's not just the singing with it. There's a lot of, other bits where she's using all of her vocals as an instrument. And yeah, I think that especially going through, because previously I've been like popping around different songs, kind of going through albums. And this album, especially, if you're not ready for it, you're going to be like, what the fuck is going on here? What is going on? So why this album over, why this album over all of the other albums that Bjork has had? And I guess what has been your journey and relationship with Bjork over your life, I guess, not just your musical career, but, your life?
I think, look, see, it's a big turning point for me as well as an artist, if I can call myself like that. It's like, when I first heard her voice and how she expressed her voice, I was really interested on the way that I told you already, like how she expressed the melodies and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I myself, I'm very insecure and I was very insecure, like in the past, like with my voice. It took a lot of time to really dive into the project that we have now.
Yeah.
We had so many tries. I was like recording things and I was like, I don't like it. I don't like this, I was very insecure. So when I had the first contact with her work, I felt like she kind of free a little spot in me on like, just do what the fuck you want, it's like, just do it, just express yourself, and you don't have to really stick to a formula, because sometimes, you can see also in the production nowadays, sometimes it's a specific formula on the sound, and I loved what she does for that specific reason, because it's very experimental. And yes, I think that was a big part for me, artistically. She's a big influence for me.
I love hearing that. And, I was watching some behind the scenes of her making this album that, there's some like videos on YouTube and stuff like that. And even just like as she's talking to people, you can tell that this is a woman that does not care about anything else or anyone other than what she's creating in her art. And she's in her own, little planet, which also kind of adds her like aura and mystique to where you're like, she's almost not a real person. She's just like this thing that floats out there,
Yes, exactly. It's like a creature from another planet. Like,
Yes.
It's not even from this planet. I don't know. It's from another planet.
Yeah, the one of my favorite YouTube comments, I saw the music video for the first song on this one, Hunter. She's got the bald cap on and she's moving around, and all this CGI is thing. It's really weird. She's making all these facial expressions and shit like that. One of the comments on that was like, that's not CGI. Bjork can just do that. And I was like, yeah, I would not question it if she could, because like, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Like you see, and she's very far from her era, she could see like even further. I think her sound really evolved, like helped evolving music in general.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And also with
No, for sure.
technology as well. Like because she was very progressive. I don't know how to describe, like,
I know exactly what you mean, because listening to this album, one of the things I was thinking of is, this was 97 when this came out, and how timeless it feels. Like, it still feels a little bit futuristic, because there are a couple of parts, we'll get into this, like I think it's like Alarm Call or something, like starts almost like a 90s hip-hop like dance beat, like in the club or something like that.
Yes.
But so there are touches of that say like, yeah, this is made in the 90s, but otherwise it doesn't fit into any specific like time period or zone because of all the electronics and the strings and the, percussive elements through it. And I don't know. I think that is just, exactly what you're saying, progressive and futuristic in thinking, where, you could listen to this album in another 20 years. I mean, we're fucking like almost 30 years removed from when it came out. And like, you could listen to it in another 20 years and I still think it would sound as, not tied to any sort of era. And without going through every single Bjork, CD or album or whatever to see how she's changed and morphed and stuff like that. It's still really cool to see. So before we get into it, how would you describe other Bjork albums? Because again, like I've listened to Debut, I've listened to Post, I've listened to a couple of other things here and there. I very briefly, when it came out, listened to her most recent one, I think 2022, and I was like, I'm not ready for this. No, I need to come back to this when I have a little bit more of an understanding so I can fully appreciate this. But, with her having so many albums that are vastly different from each other and her constantly trying to move, I get like, how would you describe some of her other albums other than Homogenic?
See, she gets super experimental. I really love her. I mean, I love her. I told you.
Yeah.
100 times already. But I think I stick a lot to her earlier work. I don't know why. It makes more like something in my heart even more. I heard actually she released a song with Rosalia the other day, and I listened to it. It's like a new release. And I was like, okay, something new as well. She just brings something extra. I think whatever she will do it in a very unexpected way. And mostly I love her earlier stuff. I don't know, they speak more to me than some other records, for example.
So far, again, I am a novice when it comes to her discography, but so far I kind of agree. Whereas, like, I've been poking around, and the ones that I've heard, what was the other one that I listened to? Is the one from 2004. She's got like the what is it, like that mask, that masquerade on? It is Medulla. That's the one. I listened to that, and was not as intrigued as Post and Debut and stuff like that, or this album. So I'll keep that in mind as we're going through. Last question I have before we start is for people that are either experience this album for the first time or not really into Bjork, what should they expect when they push play on this record?
I think you guys are going to be transferred to Iceland entirely. And you're gonna experience like some really good beats. I would say volcanic in many areas. She has this, style of adding Iceland, her home.
Yes.
Like you can feel it everywhere. And I think for this specific record, she actually had the sound library also from the nature of Iceland.
Cool.
I need to retake it because I don't remember if this information is totally clear, but please guys take it, because I think I watched the documentary in the past and I remember that she added extra sounds from the nature in general. So
yes.
It's really cool to
the reading that I was doing, it was very much, she's like, I want this to be Iceland and I want it to be different from the other two records that I've done before, and kind of put it out there. And you mentioned about how earlier you could see her like singing in this field, and nature is very much, especially with this record, imbued in all of her art. I think it's across the board for all of her work that she's done, but there is just something about this where you can just see, the sea coming onto the waves and on the island and shit like that through her voice. And I think that is really, really cool. So Dimitra, this is Bjork's Homogenic in 3, 2, 1, play. This is such a headphones record too. I love, now I'm not the most experienced or biggest fan of like trip hop, but the way that the production is, where you just feel almost like ASMR a little bit with the way that things pop around the headphones and stuff like that. And this song is just such a good example of that off the top of the bat.
But you can hear, like here, Like the way that she starts, and the Hunter in general, it's like so just the perfect song for the start. Like she's discovering right now. Like it's crazy.
I think especially right here, you find where she is using breath almost as an accent to everything, whether she's like coming into a word from a like that, or like, you know, ending a word with that, almost like an emphasis. Yeah, this is very much like we'll get into it a little bit because there are some parts of this album that almost trigger my like overstimulation a little bit with the way that she's layered shit in there. I'm just like, oh my god, I don't know if I can take it. But I forgot where I was fucking going with that. Oh, I think that's what it was, as far as like kind of like the slow roll of like, we're gonna start weird, but we're not going to fully blast you in the face with all of the stuff that's going to happen on this record. That's coming later, you know?
Exactly. And I love her effects here in general, how the voice, it's like delivered.
Yeah.
And the production.
I thought it was interesting. So she did a lot of self-producing on this, but worked with like several other producers, just kind of depending on the song is what it looks like, which I imagine also helps kind of the diversity of this record on it. But it's kind of like relatively simple as far as there's her vocals, electronics, and strings. And that's kind of it as far as like the instruments go on there. But the way that they layer it in is anything but simple.
Yes, yes. And it's you know, like simple but also very organic. And the orchestra parts are so beautifully layered.
There is obviously a lot of cinematic elements to her music, and this album specifically in general. I mean, we'll get to it. There are parts that I feel like, you know, parts feel like they could be in like a Bond soundtrack or something that, you know, obviously, you know, she's very influenced by European cinema and stuff like that, being in movies over there. And you can feel that in here to kind of give it that extra dramaticism, I guess. And I know that Unverkalt is also very inspired by, you know, cinema and, you know, soundtracks and everything like that. I guess I'm trying to figure out the best way to phrase this question that's not just like, you know, tell me how you do art, right? Because that doesn't make sense. But like, I guess, what are all of the different aspects in your mind when you're going to create an Unverkalt song with like, okay, obviously we need music and it's going to be kind of dark, but this is going to be, you know, are you always thinking that you're inspired by cinema? Does it kind of depend on the song, or do you have a certain feel when you're starting to write the song? I'm very curious on how you bring in these other like mediums into the influence of your music.
We are big fan of horror cinema as well. So in general, whatever inspires me, like personally, I will speak like on the lyrical part, whatever I see and inspires me, I just want to bring this emotion. Oh my God, I love this song. I'm so
This emotion, so good.
What is this? And this song, she wrote with the lyrics were written by a friend of hers. Like, he's a poet, I think. I think the name is Sean, and they did a lot of collabs together. And I will tell you for a later song about.
Yeah.
I slipped the question because
it happens. No, this is going to happen. Like that's the danger of trying to talk about other things while we're listening to music. But it's also my favorite part of this is because we'll be in the middle of something and then we'll just go into karaoke, which is very much encouraged, Dimitra. So like, if you feel like just belting out a line, please do.
Oh my God, yes. But yes, just to answer your stuff, like I get inspired by maybe a book or a movie or a documentary that I will see. And I always have my radar open if this happens. And then it comes to me lyrically, but also from personal, you know, personal experiences, like emotions. But I love this, you know, in the art to do something that somehow you will put yourself in it in a safe way, not going like you can go, but sometimes it can be like very vulnerable position
Yeah.
when you do music and when you sing or when you write something. But yes, I would say I'm pretty much inspired from many things, not only cinema, not only books, like in general, whatever stuck in my mind or something, I will just go for it, you know.
That makes sense, and I feel like the musical style that Unverkalt has very much relates to that, where it's not just I can obviously see the musical influences in the music, but then obviously the videos that you all have put out, which kind of have this darker. Yeah, I know the last album was more kind of like about like the darker edges of people and serial killers and stuff like that, and it very much came through a lot of the visual aspects of that as well. So yeah, I think that it's very, very interesting, and especially the way that the sounds are woven in. Like I mentioned at the beginning, it's not it's not post metal, it's not doom metal, it's not alt metal, but it's all of those things at the same time. It is, and that's what I think is very interesting. To where I feel like if someone is into the darker end of things, not just like heavy metal or extreme music, but there would be a lot of crossover with people that maybe aren't really into heavier music a lot because of the way that the vocals are, the music is, but yet a lot of things that are going to get people that are into like My Dying Bride or Paradise Lost or something into the
Yes,
band as
yes.
well, right?
I mean, on the composition part, it's highly inspired by those bands.
Cool.
Paradise Lost, of course, it's a big influence and a big love. But listen, like this song, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And this is like super Iceland song. Like
yeah.
ultimate Iceland.
Well, and she had that lyric on there, on the bridge where I thought I could organize freedom, how Scandinavian of me. I don't know why. That line always sticks in my head with this song on here. It's both funny, but also kind of sad, but also, vulnerable and human in there as well. And with the kind of, I don't want to say word salad, but definitely a lot of these lyrics in there are some that if you sat down and read, you could have 30 different interpretations of what she might be trying to say or what the poet was trying to say that wrote. And just to have that very, I don't know, direct line in there in this other song, or in this song that's kind of open and all over the place. I like it. I don't know. I like it.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and it can get a lot of you can get a lot of meanings out of her tracks. You never know exactly, this is it,
Right.
It's like it's a bit open.
Right.
Also.
And I don't know, unless she comes out and says like, this is exactly what I'm going for. I feel like an artist like Björk is like, you're never going to get 100% of what she was intending. She is doing her thing. She's putting it out there, and whatever you take away from it is what you take away from it. And it's not her job to tell you like, no, you should be thinking about this.
Yeah.
If this makes you think about Iceland, or makes you think about fucking, I don't know, Ireland, or the mountains of India or something like that, or the fucking Carpathian Mountains, I don't know, nature in general. It's like, I'm sure that that's right. This song though, Yoga,
Yeah.
like I like this song a lot too.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and it's very like I think it's very intense on the feeling. Every time it gets me. I don't know.
It's kind of like you're talking about the volcanic sound to it. That the percussive element right here is a little bit like that. I think gets a little bit more in one of the other tracks coming in, but that's like the start. It's like they're almost like a tutorial, almost, where they're adding little bits that are going to be in the album one by one, so that then when you get about like 6 songs in, they're just like, all right, now we're hammering you home with everything that we've been building so far.
Yeah. And like you can listen like the whole atmosphere. This song, I think it's still pushing you into the record. So it's still like get to know me here. But all the record has like a very cohesive sound. Like it's one thing, but of course you have some explosions on some parts,
Yeah.
like songs that you don't expect them to be like that. For example, we will listen, Pluto, for me, that we will listen a bit after.
Yeah.
know this. Oh my God.
I have to tell you, so
Tell me.
generally when someone, says an album that they're going to listen to, all the that like organ, whatever that was, that slide down there, I'll try and listen to it just like once, by myself, without lyrics or without, and I'll just like pop it on, kind of, lay back and try and just see what I get from this, like no expectations first listen. And I was listening to this before going to work one evening, and I started to kind of like doze a little bit through the album because it's been a long day. And I was like, that kind of like in between, wake and sleep where you can still hear everything going on, but it all kind of like molds together, which listening to this album in that experience, like in that state, was very weird. But then I like came to kind of in the middle of Pluto, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? What did I miss? How did we get here? And so going back and actually intentionally listening to the album with like the lyrics and all that stuff was one of my favorite tracks on the record when I got back around to it. But B, I was like, yeah, no fucking wonder I was so goddamn confused when I got over here, because this is just like batshit insane over here.
It's like, I don't know, she's doing metal there,
Yeah,
metal and techno all together. I don't know how to describe this. Actually, this song, I think it's one of my favorites in the entire discography. I heard it so many times. I'm obsessed with this song.
Like, to me, this sounds like if you walked in to like the underground volcanic lair that the James Bond villain has in the film, this fancy, opulent, rich party with all these like diamonds and jewels and whatever. This would be the song that you would see walking in as she's on the stage in this like weird getup in front of all these fucking like European villains and oligarchs and stuff like that. That's what I feel with this song.
It's very cinematic.
Yes.
And very soundtrack kind of song, it's like, and see, actually this is another work with Sean, this guy that helps her with the lyrics. And I just love the lines like, I'm a fountain of blood. Like, what is this? Like, it's so dark and so beautiful. And the whole story of this, it's like her being born in the forest and going to the city. So you just experience how she will go to the city, and the city in the end, it's just going to be filled with nature, because like this is the loop of events, we try to build things in this world. We try to cover the nature, but the nature always is there, it's never, oh my God, I can't I'm so sorry.
No. Literally, do not apologize for being passionate about an artist that you love, especially because like most of this stuff that you're saying to me is new as well. So like, and it's interesting. There is, you talk about the, the I'm a fountain of blood in the shape of a girl, water and fountains and all of that is symbolist all through this record or all through the song. I'm sorry. And then that gets into, I'm looking at the lyrics right here, trees and nature through exactly like what you were saying.
You should check the video of her, which is the story that I told you. She opens a book in the forest and the book starts to write itself. And then she goes to the city and the story unfolds there. I mean, I just love it. And now it's coming. Like, my favorite part is here, like this explosion. Oh my God.
Yeah, just those. Yeah,
it's like super, super expressive. I don't know. It's like every time I get sad, I listen to the song and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, it killed me again.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh no, I need to purge the emotions a little bit. I know this will help me.
And in the end, you will listen also this tango style ending, which is interesting. You don't expect it as well.
No. Well, that's another thing, especially with artists that do this, like whether it's, Björk or, Bowie or Prince or anyone who just feels like not necessarily that they need to reinvent themselves every album, but at least that they're not going to repeat themselves. Like, oh, we did that. There's no reason to go back and do that album again because, that's already a point in time. Also, I was a different person in that point in time than I am right now, or the emotions that I was feeling are very different, and now I'm, feeling everything else. I know that you have said that, you treat Unverkalt like this, as far as you want to always be evolving and always be looking for something different, and if not, completely doing a 180 on an album, at least trying to do something different. Why is that so important to you? Like, why do you think that your project and your band needs to constantly be trying to experiment or find new things or figure out where you're going, rather than like, oh no, we've got our sound, we've got like that, we're just gonna live in that universe, I guess?
I think it's a matter of just not stick to a specific formula, because if I think I need to create the same exact thing, in the end I will get bored first of all, because I will be like, okay, this I did it again, I will do the same. I think you should approach the song with a new direction every time, not entirely change the whole thing, like just turning into R&B in some point,
Right, yeah.
maybe I will, I never
Yeah.
know. But in general, like just go a bit fresh, and listen to the song, and just go with what the heart says in that specific moment. I think this is like pretty what I would love to continue to do.
I love that. Go with what the heart feels in the moment. Yeah, that sounds very, especially with the band being pretty emotional, especially when you like really start to dig in. I feel like with the albums that I've listened to, well, the two that you have, it's very much like the more that you listen to it and the more you go back to it, the more kind of unfolds with it, which I feel like obviously very much like with Bjork as well, because that barrier of entry, you're going to be listening to this being like, what the fuck is going on? And then sometimes you get in there. So I'd be curious, spinningthewax@gmail.com, those of you that have gotten into Bjork, or you can leave a comment in the YouTube comments as well, as far as what your experience getting into Bjork. Did you like have to come back to it? Was it like an immediate type of thing? So would you say, Dimitra, that Bjork was immediate for you?
She was like it hit me in the core in a way. So yeah, I would say.
Cool. Yeah, I'm we're still getting there, but yeah, no, yeah.
You didn't tell me how do you, I mean, you listened to this album already.
Yes, I've listened to it a couple of times within the last week, and I like it. I think I like the debut possibly a little bit better. But what I will say is every time that I've gone back to listen to it, there has been something else that has kind of unfurled itself for me, and some of the lines, like we were talking about, emergency, just now live rent-free in my head, which I think is another talent of hers, is to kind of let herself loose and kind of do this unhinged, wild, feral, natural and primal sort of accents to her voice, but then find those melodies that just get lodged in your brain, which people cannot do. Yeah.
She has very interesting approach, like on how she says something, even the word or the phrase, she can make it sound different. Like
now, like I'll talk to you about the bands that people have told me, hey, John, you need to go back and listen to this band because you like this artist. And if you like them, you would very much, you like this because they're inspired or something like that. And one of the bands that kept coming back around from some of the artists that I like is Portishead. It's like, all right, yeah, I've never really dived into Portishead. Like, let's give it a go. A couple years ago, I was doing a stream on Twitch and listening to music. I was like, let's go. And I think someone put in like a live rendition of like Glory Box or something like that. And I was like,
yes.
But at the time, I was like, no. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, I can't know. Like, her voice is too weird. I don't just sing the fucking song. Like, what is going? I just like, I was like, all right, let me try the album. Like, whatever. And I listened to Dummy, and I was like, no. I was just like, maybe trip hop is not for me. Maybe I just don't like Portishead. That's weird. Like, I like all the bands that are inspired by Portishead. I don't like Portishead. But earlier this year, something was going on, or not something was going on. I'm sorry. I was listening to music, right? I had a playlist on, and Glory Box came on again. And I don't know if it was the weed that I was smoking, the years that it's been since, or the music that I've been listening to this year. But I was like, wait a second, this actually kind of slaps. What was I thinking before? So then I went back to the album, and while it wasn't like, oh my God, I fucking love this band, I was able to be like, okay, whatever I felt previously about like, this doesn't do it for me, I can actually sort of see now why this gets into people's minds, and there are things on there. So I don't know, maybe in a couple years I'll actually like really, really, really love Dummy. But that's why like I said, I'm glad this is now, because I feel like if I listened to this album even just like a couple of years ago, I'd be like, no, fuck, too weird. There's too much going on. There's too many layers and all this other shit. I can't do it. You're talking about experimenting with your band. Yeah. I love, doing that with artists and bands and music, and going back to stuff that I previously didn't like. A lot of times I'm like, hey, I've hated this band for so long. It's been 10 years. Let me try and go and see it again. And then I'll listen to them and be like, nope, still hate them, but at least I tried,
You tried,
Yeah, exactly.
Like, sometimes it works. Sometimes, all of us, sometimes you're like, I'm not going to listen to this. I don't like it. Like, that's it. Yeah. I'm leaving. But it's like, sometimes they grow on you. Like the artist you can revisit, and then you're like, oh, fuck, what I was missing. Like, oh my God. This is not my favorite. I have other favorites.
I'm glad that you say that, because one, the fact that the track 5 years is track number 6 kind of bugs me just a little bit. But like, whatever. Maybe that was intentional. Maybe the intention of Björk was to bug you, that it wasn't on. She's like, no, we can't have 5 years be track 5. Absolutely. I could actually hear her saying that now that I think about that. But yeah, I kind of agree on this one. I think it's more so the strength of the songs before it and the strength of the songs after that. And also this like, whatever this weird like drum sort of thing is, where it's like, I don't know. It's not my favorite. Kind of, that's what I was talking about, where I hear it over again. I'm just like, I can't focus on fucking anything else on this song other than whatever that is going on.
Yeah, I feel you. This is my least favorite. And I don't say bad words for anything. But sure. This, no. No. Next, it's perfect. But yes, I think it's like, it will grow on you. I know it must be a new experience, from what I understand, but maybe it will grow on you.
I'm sure it will. And I am, one of the reasons why it's taken me so long to get into Björk is because, and maybe this is wrong, maybe you can tell me I'm just, this is the wrong way to do it or whatever to be true, but I felt that it's like, okay, if I really want to experience her as an artist, it's got to be through the albums. I don't know, like, if in actual discography order, but like, I don't feel like you would get, you would do her justice by just like popping on a playlist and like going around. Like, I guess you could have fun a lot doing that, but to really understand why people love her as an artist so much, and why she's been so influential, and what she's done in her music to really latch on to people, I feel like Björk is an artist that you really have to dive in to the albums to do that. Do you feel like that's a correct statement?
Yeah, for sure. I also feel that, because every album can give you something different and sees a different person in its period. So you can have different influences inside. So I think you should definitely go on this journey. I listen now. This changed the mood now. You hear it's a bit like.
And what I thought has been interesting is the. Moving from one song to the next in this. It's almost like, again, I was talking about when I listened to this the first time, I wasn't even really all that aware sometimes when songs were moving and stuff like that, because some will fade out and fade back in, and there's a lot of those in there that the beginning of the song that's coming after the end of a song just works so perfectly that it just feels like a whole, intentional album. Again, kind of talking about her being an albums artist,
Yeah, and you can like, it's a whole I don't know, it's like a wave, it just goes like, I think, and it's also very, the same sound, like
almost like an Icelandic river, I would say, to kind of like tie in that nature. You know what I mean? It's just like that's
yeah,
getting in, and then when you have the big explosions, those are the volcanoes on the island and everything like that.
it's like Iceland. That's it. Like you can feel everything. I don't know. I think she wanted to make it very. It's also very nostalgic in many areas, like very vulnerable, but also explosive. I don't know. It's now listen. What is this voice? Wow. How she does it? I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's like it's not quite a metal scream, but it's still more like primal and like back than anything that she's done.
I definitely believe if she was in a she had some projects when she was little that was more punk stuff, and she did a great job. And I have to tell you, if she was in a metal band, she will thrive.
Dude,
I believe
yes.
that.
I believe it. I want to see Bjork collaborate with like fucking Yob or like Sun or something like what the fuck could happen if those artists got together? Bjork and Bell Witch? I don't know. Like what would happen?
My God, we have to post this video and we have to make it happen.
We have to make it happen. What?
We have to make it. She needs to do it. That's it.
Yes. Yes, we'll just get the artists. We'll get we'll start a campaign for every metal artist to start breaking down Bjork's door. Well, no, don't do that. But, send her nice emails or phone calls or whatever. Be like, please, let's do this. It would be amazing. Let's someone at Roadburn do a curated set to get Bjork to hang out with the metal artist for a couple of months to make a CD or something like that. I would love to hear that.
Yes, I tell you, she would be amazing in a metal band. I believe it.
I believe it too. Well, it's so talking about the artists that I love that are inspired by Bjork, especially trip hop or anything like that. Chelsea Wolfe's latest record is very much a way different sort of vibe for her, and gets into that sort of trip hop, morphing a lot of different sounds and songs and stuff like that together. And let's get them together. I'm sure that would be fucking fun. Like, let's do it.
Yes, I just love also the last album of Chelsea Wolfe was fire.
Yeah, it was so fucking good.
I loved it. And she had a great cinematography on her videos as well. The videos were incredible.
The first time I saw the video for Tunnel Lights, I was like, what the fuck? Like, are you fucking kidding me? I can't off the top of my head remember the cinematographer, the artist that she partnered with, but I believe he lives in Colombia, which is where she went down to record those things. And oh my God, like I looked at his website and a couple of other things that he does, and I love it when talented, like incredible artists find other people that are at the top and talented, and just like add to augment what they're doing and their vision and everything like that.
Yeah, she brought like incredible imagery. Like the whole thing is so aesthetic. I don't know. It's like you see a bit of fashion in a way also. Like it's very avant-garde. It's like everything. I don't know. Yeah, we are also passionate about Chelsea Wolfe today.
Yeah. So again, she's like this like Louis Armstrong like type of bit. But this is a song a little bit like. This has that almost like 90s dance club beat to it a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like, this is the song. Yeah, right. Yeah. I'll turn down the lights, turn on my things. Let's get it going. This was the only song where I was like, I could see this. Like, this sounds like it's from the 90s, but only because it's got that beat behind it. Everything else is like, no, not set to a specific date or time.
Yeah, totally. It's different than the others. It has like more dance vibe.
Yeah, like I feel like I should be like cruising down the street at like in a hoopty or something like that right now.
Like, I don't know. I also felt it like that many times. You see the progress in the album now. I think it's what is the next? Pluto?
Pluto is coming up next. Yes.
Wow. After this, Pluto comes. Tell me about it. You said about some parts that were a bit sometimes overwhelming.
Yes. All neon like, that was the one, because I was like,
Oh,
it's a little bit out there, and then you get to the end and she layers all of those things over, and we had conversations, so it passed when you didn't hear me go like, oh my god, I can't fucking stand this, or whatever it is, but all it was is when I was listening to it, because I had to re-listen to that song a couple of times, and it was just that at the end, it's like so many noises going at once, it's just like my ADHD can't handle it, and like
yes,
starts to
yes,
short circuit my brain a little bit. That was really the
yeah,
only song like that. This one, again, when I heard it the first time, it's just like, what the fuck is going on? Because it sounds like, like this is almost industrial right here, where it sounds like this machine like cranking and turning in
yeah.
here. There is a lot of sensory overstimulation in this song, but for me, this one actually works a little bit more so than the other song that I was talking about.
Yes, yes. It's and you can see here, like, listen to the effects and everything. In a bit, she will be like super.
This would be a very good walking around the neighborhood on a dose of magic mushrooms type of song, I think.
Totally. I listen here, it's crazy. It's
Yeah. Like, this
but
is
with this
industrial.
effect, can you imagine it to metal?
Yeah. Like,
I tell you.
legitimately, you can hear Ministry doing this song right here,
Exactly.
So fucking good. It's so weird. Like, this thing about, like, that I've been seeing is sometimes her shit just doesn't make sense, but it doesn't have to, you know what I mean? Because you're just like, I don't get this, it doesn't make sense, but it's cool and I like listening to it. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
the opposite, where it's just like, this doesn't make sense, I don't know what the fuck is going on, I'm leaving, but I don't get this on this. Like, now we're in like almost like a Blade rave right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It goes crazy. It's like we're like that. But I love it. I love this song, actually.
Yeah.
I love it. You should take it live. I was pretty impressed. I was like, oh wow, okay. Take it. Don't forget.
This album has gone by so fast. I know it's only 45
Yeah.
minutes. It's not a super long record, and obviously we've been like chatting and everything like that through, which helps the time go. But yeah, it's just like, boom. You
Yeah.
get so sucked into the sequencing and the songs, kind of like you were saying. They start you kind of slow, and then they ramp everything up to like what we just heard. And now this is kind of a return to the calm, like almost like a meditation sort of music, which I really, really like.
Exactly. I think it's like a rebirth, you experience
Yeah.
a rebirth in a way. This is how I feel it. But after Pluto, it's like she transformed totally,
Yeah.
just embracing everything. I don't know. It's like wide open to everything. I don't know.
No, I get that too, because like I talked about, or like I thought how this kind of is almost a reprise from early in the album, coming from like, if you put this on, you could almost loop the album, and if All Is Full of Love goes right back into Hunter, and I wonder if it sounds cyclical and like it was totally meant to do, as if you could just listen to this album over and over and over in perpetuity forever. But it's just like, yeah, this brings it back all the way around. And a rebirth is so, I'm trying to say it better myself, but I can't in so many words. You said it perfectly.
I feel it. I will put it as a loop and then listen to Hunter inside.
You should let me know, see how it works. I don't know. Is this an album that you can listen to just like back to back to back, or do you have to like you listen to it once and then you kind of have to give it some time?
I mean, I have my favorites. I usually go for the favorites.
Okay, yeah.
I'm this kind of person sometimes.
Yeah.
And I just go back and just listen to my faves, and
Sure,
sometimes
I do that as well.
Listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
But it depends on the mood.
Sure.
If I have my vinyl and just put it, and then I have a bit of wine or something, I don't know, I can have like the whole record going and be like perfect.
Again, the echoes in and out of the head. This also, I'm gonna loop this. I want to see if I can loop this just to see what we think about it. Hang on.
Yes.
We'll see what's going on, because I have a feeling that, you know how the record starts with the do, that because it's going, they're panning her voice in each of your left and the right headphone, and it's like echoing and crossing over the planes and everything like that, that if this fades out and then Hunter starts, it'll sound fucking good. I'll actually turn my audio on for you so you can hear it. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It's like awakening.
That works perfectly.
Incredible.
Yeah,
eh?
it works. Holy shit. Look at that. We just discovered a new way to listen to this record. Holy fuck.
It works. It's like a loop. You go back. It's a circle. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I don't know if she meant to do that or not or whatever, if we just like, you know, people have been doing that for years or we just unlock something or now, you know, I fucking love art and I love music and it's an album that's almost 30 years old and we can figure out a new thing. So now, yeah, everybody go out and do that.
Perfect.
Listen to Homogenic twice with the loop on just to find that cycle of death and dying and rebirth and everything like that. Fuck yeah.
Yes, please, guys, do. Like, really, believe us. We had the best. It's like an out-of-body experience. Just go to sleep and have your all is full of love, and then Hunter, and then you're back to
Yes,
life.
and then that way you'll wake up in the middle. It'll be like 3 o'clock in the morning. You'll wake up to Pluto and be like, "What the fuck is going on?" It's like that's why I had so many weird nightmares and dreams.
With Pluto, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, that was so much fun. Dimitra, last words, thoughts on Björk and this album.
I'm speechless, guys. Really, this album is a masterpiece. I think she's a legend, and we are very happy to have her in these times, you know?
Yeah.
I'm happy I'm alive and I could hear this
Dude,
record.
we are alive at the same time as Björk, which is really cool, right? You know, like
This is what I wanted to say. It sounded very, very weird what I said, but you know, we are alive at the same moment. It's incredible.
It's
Just
very,
go and check out.
yeah, I love that. So if people liked this record, what would you recommend they start to go and just like do it in discography order, like release order, or are there other like what would you recommend people go to further listening for Björk?
Just go from the start and go all the way until the end.
Cool.
Every period of her is just a different era. So I think like it's a different experience. So you have to experience all the experience. Yes.
You heard her, everybody. Just find some time. You know, who doesn't have free time nowadays, right? Like we're not all busy or anything like that. But no, whether it's a vacation or something like that, go find a time to just discover and explore Björk's discography. Like I said, I am about technically four albums through in that one, and I've been having a nice time, and we'll see. It'll be interesting to see over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years how my experience with Björk changes, and how we would talk down the road being like, okay, no, now this is my favorite Björk song, or this album that I listen to, like holy shit, yeah.
You say that, we will remind ourselves, and you can tell me in 5 years from now.
Okay, I'm setting a reminder on my phone for November of 2030. And I'll
yes,
please. Yes, exactly. Oh my God, Dimitra, it's been so great chatting with you. Before we go, obviously, by the time this has come out, the album that is coming out next year will be announced, and people will be able to hear the first song on it. What is it that you're, without, I guess, unveiling too much or speaking specifically about stuff that we haven't heard, I guess, what are you most excited about for this upcoming record? And how do you feel that the band has experimented or evolved or changed for this one?
It's pretty dark record. It's more
darker than the last one, huh?
And darker than everything.
Fuck yeah, okay.
I mean, it's really dark, and the approach also the previous was very dark.
Sure, yeah.
The concept, but in the sound, you will listen to a lot of differences, also in the vocal part, because I'm not alone, and this is incredible. And you can listen also to other vocals, other layers, and the sound, it's more boom. I don't know. It's like super dark and super cohesive and very intense. And we explored a bit of intense topic. So I'm just looking forward to see how people will feel about it. And it was a pleasure, really. And I can't wait to tell me, what do you think? And did you hear the new single?
I did hear the new single. Yes, I liked it very, very much. That was, so I didn't, without anybody else having heard it or anything like that, this is how I could tell, you all are moving the needle a little bit more, or I guess moving the goalposts. I don't know if that's the right way to say that expression, but experimenting and moving and evolving a little bit more. Because I listened to that one, I was like, this is, again, way darker and a little bit even more like dirgier. And then, of course, like you were saying, the dual vocal attack on that song and stuff like that. So yeah, nice little taste. I'm very excited to dig into the full record.
Yeah, me too. And I can't wait to tell me. And really, I thank you for today. And yeah, it was a real pleasure. And just listen more Björk and let me know in a few years what is gonna happen.
We'll do 5 years, 2030. It's gonna happen. Everybody, this has been Dimitra Kalavrezou. I again hope I said that correctly. Go listen to Unverkalt, everybody. They have 2 records out right now, L'Origine de Monde and A Lump of Death, A Chaos of Dead Lovers. Both of them are very worth your time. And of course, we'll be talking about a brand new Unverkalt album here in just a little bit. So, Dimitra, thank you so much for spending your time with us, for sharing your experience with Bjork with me, and for popping on Spinning the Wax.
Thank you, John. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That was Dimitra Kalavrezou of Unverkalt listening to Björk's Homogenic. Huge thanks goes out to her for coming on the show, for sharing her time, and sharing this experience with me. As you heard, we had entirely too much fun. Go listen to Héréditaire, the 3rd album from Unverkalt, which is available through Season of Mist on February 27th. And while you're at it, go check out the first 2 Unverkalt albums as well. They are very different from each other, but you could hear them evolve over each of those records, and it's very worth your time. If you're still on the fence about this band, I was pitched them as, quote, something a bit like Julie Christmas fronting Cult of Luna, end quote. So hopefully that should get you on board. That's our show for this outing, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, for listening, for supporting. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're listening to this on a podcast platform, please follow us on that platform if you're not doing so already. And feel free to leave a comment below or hit us up at spinningthewax@gmail.com. You can also find us on Patreon and Instagram at spinningthewax. And you can follow me personally on Instagram at staypuff_malo. We'll see you next time, everyone. Until then, take care of yourselves. Stay safe, stay sane, stay heavy, stay puffed. See you next time, everyone.